Alright, who here thinks that they can do a really good impression of one of Tara's characters? Hands up. Actually, you know what? Whoever the first 10 people are to come up here and volunteer to do an impression. Come on. I see that hand.
It's so exciting.
You got a couple? Yeah? Come over.
I'm trying to think of the line because I haven't seen that episode in years.
Alright, are you coming up? All right. Anyone else? Come on, come on. All right. All right. All right, so how this is going to work is I'm going to pass the mic down the line. You're going to say which character you're doing an impression of, and then do your impression. And then everybody here is going to cheer. And then Tara's going to pick a winner. And then the winner's going to do autographs.
Right.
And then model will find. It's Mardi Gras.
Oh, okay. Anyone want to sell Mardi Gras?
I
I don't know where to go.
All right, first one, ready? Here
So I'm going to be doing Ready Men. Okay. Beast Boy. I hate you, but I really like you too. Sexy Raven. I like it. Sexy Raven. What's your name? Sarah. Give it up for Sarah. Sexy Raven. Yes, you're stuck standing up with your head. Whatever. And also say your own name first.
Hi, David. What do you do with personal focus? I'm trying to do the blind test and so here's something I see.
You want to copy me? You want to copy me?
Yeah, that was really helpful.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm just as tough as possible, but they think I'm a baby. I can show them I can be hardcore.
Yeah! Just made me too turn.
I'm Craven. I'm going to be doing an impression of Secretary because can I copy you? Because I'm really saying a lot.
God, no wonder. I wish everyone's dreams come true.
Or just copy this, ready?
You just remember this dream was gone. This guy thinks we're gonna get my friends killed and shit.
You should know this song is right.
Oh, she makes me talented. Okay.
That's nothing fun then.
I'll give you an easier one, ready? Just do this.
Internet?
Okay.
Internet?
Okay? I'm Jessa, and I'm gonna be doing some talk. Okay.
Hello, I'm Jordan. And I want to do an impression of Bubbles.
Whoa!
So I'm just trying to figure out what to say.
Hi, I'm Bubbles, and I'm a powerlifter. Did you know that?
Hi, my name is Mackenzie, and I want to do both. Okay.
I want to be the prettiest girl at the party.
I think we could do a good Pinkie Pie. There's like a little Pinkie Pie in there. Did you guys hear that? Probably do Pinkie Pie.
I'm Kate, and I'm going to do Miss Minutes.
Yes.
Hey, y'all. Careful, hey, y'all. For all time, I'm so nervous. I'm so sorry.
No, we're gonna try again. You ready? Ready?
Hey y'all,
Hey, y'all.
welcome to the Town Barons Authority.
Welcome to the Tom Barons Authority.
Yes.
You want to copy me?
Dear Princess Celestia, today I met the coolest people in Huntsville.
Dear Princess Celestia, today I met the coolest people in Huntsville.
Yeah! Nice, everybody. Go for it.
What's up? My name is Vaughn, and as you can tell from my very feminine voice, I'm gonna be pulling off harley Quin. Watch this.
Mr. J is going to show you what Full put in. How are we supposed to pick? Should we make the audience pick?
Yeah, audience.
Okay. Turn those hands.
Trying to win your own contest.
All right, you guys
All right. Applause meter.
Is it
Well, I think Timmy's
Timmy and Harley and
Bubbles, right? All right, Timmy, Harley, Bubbles. Thanks, guys.
that's not easy, right? It's not friend people. Yeah, you too. You want to learn
You're
to do
too
that?
terrifying.
I'm scary. Yes, I can be. I'm not fun to live with. If you guys want to know what it's like to date a voice chick, that sounds cute, Lenny. What's it like?
If you guys have seen the memes on like TikTok, I'm a voice actor, just imagine that like with all day long. All day, every day.
You like it?
You kind of like it.
It's hilarious.
Thank you.
Should we do some questions?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, cool. So if you guys want to ask some questions, just jump up here, line up behind these mics, and we will get to as many bank questions as we can.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite character that you around the house?
Truffles.
Hi,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, I'm Jack.
Just. Hello, Tara. That's all it is for me. What's it like working as Riku on Final Fantasy series?
That was actually a lot of work because there were so many different scenarios for the game, and also we had to speak in an entirely different made-up language that the gentleman that created Outback was in the studio with us, so he knew how to say every word. So it was very meticulous, but also very fun. And I have to say, my favorite thing about voicing Riku is seeing her legacy. Like every con I go to, people say like, she got me through a really hard time, or this is my favorite game. I've played it over and over, and I've never played it, and you've never played it. We keep saying, would you guys watch if we played it together on Twitch? Yeah, because he's been playing the new Suicide Squad game, and he's like, you have the best lines.
I have to say it.
You guys need to line up if you have questions. Don't be shy. Line up behind the mic. What's your favorite thing when I do auditions at home?
It's weird getting like waking up and you're like, is there a bird trapped in the house? Is that bird dying? And you're like, oh no, that's my girlfriend in her closet.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead. Go.
So I wanted to ask, as part of Gen 4, I know you were completely geographically separate from the team up in Canada. And I heard from like Kathy and some of the other people kind of over the years that there was, like it makes it a lot harder. Can you speak to any of that?
I don't think it does. I mean, it's more fun to be with the full cast, and I did go up to Vancouver a few times, and I've known quite a few of the girls in the main six my entire life. Tabitha and I worked together on Hello Kitty, which was my first job when I was 13. So we've known each other a long time, and we really have a feel for how we all sound together. And also, a lot of the time, Twilight, especially in the first two seasons, carried a lot. So there'd be like 70 lines just for me. So if we really did those in a full record, it would have taken a lot longer. So it's definitely more fun to work together, but I don't know that it's challenging to not. Because when you're reading the script and you're really in those moments, that's what really matters, right? Like the acting beats. And I sort of like imagine what's happening in mind because we didn't have any previous animation for that show. A lot of times now we get to see, because of all the great technology, a lot of the animation in front of us on the screen. But then we would just read it. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks so much. Hello, this is another My Little Pony question.
Okay.
What would you say is the life lesson that you learned the most from My Little Pony that you actually apply in your everyday life?
Great question. I think I'm a lot like Twilight. First of all, I love to read. We have like our own little book club. I was actually crying on the plane this morning reading a book. If that's true.
I was so worried I did something wrong. I just was having to sleep.
Wait, which one is this? This is the Prince's Throne or something? Anyway, really good book. And I'm also like very concerned with everybody getting along. I really like that's a lot of me. And also if I make a mistake, like I want to fix it, I want to make sure everyone's okay. So there's a lot of me in Twilight. So I'd say there was a very symbiotic relationship between a lot of the lessons, but there was one day in particular that was very organic. I was very mad at a friend of mine, one of my very best friends at the time, because she was friends with someone that I really didn't like. Like, you know, there just are people that aren't awesome, and this person is not a good person, and I was disappointed in my friend for being friends with this person. And I can't remember the episode, I'm sure one of y'all will, but there was a moment where Twilight, in her letter to Celestia, said something like, "Dear Princess Celestia, you can't always choose who your friends are friends with, but that's okay, and that's their relationship," or something like that. And it kind of made me feel better about it, because it's like, I don't have to hang out with this person. I hang out with this person, and it's okay, whoever she's friends with. It's not really any of my business, like, see. But that just spoke to me, and it happened to be like on the day that I was triggered about it. So it was like, just kind of perfect in that way.
Thank you so much.
Good question. Yeah.
My question's a little bit similar. Have you ever used your voices to get out of a tough situation?
Every day.
Every day? That might be true.
Oh, sweetie.
I did get
I
out.
was going to ask about sitting too.
Yeah, there was a cop. Yeah, no, a cop actually recognized me. He's like, are you a Powerpuff Girl? He's like, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and there's no way I can get a ticket to a Powerpuff Girl. And we did it. That's pretty fun. Yeah. I may have used that a couple times. Not shy about it. I don't even feel bad.
All right. Next question.
Again. One of my favorite characters from you was Melody from Little Mermaid 2, and I want to know, what was your experience recording that, and especially for a moment with some of the famous songs, and alongside Jody? Was that record with her, or
Did I record with her, honey?
Yes, she I was like, what is her favorite role?
Yeah, I was such a big fan. Like, my father passed away about 5 years ago now, and the poster from the original Little Mermaid was on the wall when I was cleaning up his house, like from my room growing up. I was such a big fan. And so when I met her, I literally burst into tears. If you haven't seen the video of me meeting,
I was going to say, crying is like a common theme today.
when I met Belle, he took a pretty hilarious video of me crying. Same thing. I met Jody. I burst into tears. She shook my hand. She's like, "Are you okay?" And it was like my fangirl moment. I'm like, I just love her for so long. And she was so sweet when I was like singing with her in the studio, looking at her. It was very surreal. I was like pinching myself. Like, it was just, for a moment, it was, you know, for a moment of me is alive and calm in the sea. I'm swirling into rooms so gracefully grand. I'm stubbing my toes, getting stuck in the sand. It's pretty amazing. Look what she got. The whole thing.
I have watched that VHS over and over until I learned that song.
Isn't it the best sequel? I think it's the best Disney sequel ever. Have you watched it, honey?
Yes.
No, I don't think you have.
Unfortunately, there's no footage of you crying when you were singing with Jody, but there is footage of Tara crying when she met Paige O'Hara, who's Belle.
Yeah, you should watch it on YouTube. It's wonderfully embarrassing.
Days on end, she would be telling the story to someone and just start crying. Oh, you are crying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They,
Hi, everyone. My name is Alex. My question for you is there any words of encouragement you tell yourself before a big audition? I wear mine on my head.
Well, actually, y'all, I'm about to release my first ever masterclass with all my secrets. And that's part of it. It was actually his idea because we get asked in every con. I'm sure there's people in here that are voice actors or want to be voice actors. Raise your hand. Yeah. And like, how do you get into it? How do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? And I never wanted to teach before because it's such a hard business to break into that I didn't want to take people's money unless I could promise something, and I can't promise work. I can't even promise myself work. I still audition every single day, sometimes for parts I've already had. And so he said, why don't you make it a community and share everything that is in your heart and your head? So we recorded hours and hours of video. It's coming out really soon, and there will be tricks for that in there. So if you're interested, join us. I'm going to be releasing it on all my social media pages. But if there's something I really want, and it's a callback. So, you know, the first auditions now are all in your home studio. And I don't really get nervous if it's just me, because I'll sit in my booth sometimes for hours to make it right. But when you go to the callback stage and people are there like, impress us, right? That can be a little intimidating. And so, well, I can't tell you all the secrets because they're on the class, but I do want to say that the little voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough or you can't do this isn't your friend, right? That negative voice that we all have isn't the one that helps us or propels us to our absolute best. So like ignore that voice, kick it out, give it a weird name of someone you hate and say you're not welcome here. Yeah, and like just let the highest version of yourself do that and know that you deserve that shot and you deserve to be there.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Good luck.
Okay. I'm Porter. I'm a small voice actor. I'm actually going to be the main character in this little series coming up of Elitist Academia. But, do you have any tips on like general voice acting that you can share? I know you legit just said all about it.
I know, it's just that it's not, this is the reason I made this class. It's not really one answer. It's so much, like I recorded, how many hours do you think it is?
I think there's 10 classes that we've cut down, but I think the total amount of time was probably about 10 hours before.
Right, and it's like all tips of what I do. But the most important thing is you have to start with an acting background, right? You have to. If you've never taken an acting class, if you've never done any acting, I always tell people it's very important to take a scene study, improv, because it's not about having a voice, right? Like a lot of people come to me and say, oh, I really want to get into voice, but they're not voice actors, they just have an unusual sound. And that's not going to be able to sustain a career. You have to come at it from an acting perspective so that people, when they watch it, feel like they're on a journey with you, right? So if you're really interested, that's like the short answer, but the long answer is valid and involved and much bigger, and it's worth your time and it's something that you're really interested in pursuing. And there is no small jobs, so congratulations. You never know when something's gonna blow up.
It's still going to
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Hello, my name is Nick, and first of all, may I say what an honor, privilege, and blessing it is to be such a prolific voice actor such as yourself, and many of the guests that are here.
you must have got the email too, but I'll
That's what it did. So I have a hobby of asking multi-role voice actors this, or actors in general, and you voiced some pretty potently powerful characters in your career.
Totally powerful.
So, whose power, skills, or abilities would you say you want the most out of everyone you've ever voiced?
I mean, it's gotta be Raven.
Yeah.
She's the most powerful. She's arguably the most powerful female superhero ever. I think. Don't y'all think? I'm not saying that 'cause it's me. No, but when you think of everything she can do, you know, not all superhero characters have powers, but she literally can make portals and has all kinds of interesting magic that we haven't even begun to explore yet. And I love magic, so I'm gonna have to go with Raven. Or whatever.
There's a cute child.
Yes, good.
As a Twilight fan, I would like to know what is your favorite color?
My favorite color? Dear Princess Celestia, my favorite color is whatever that kid's favorite color is. And purple. And baby blue. And pink. And wait, do I have to pick just one?
It's kind of a toss up between like a light blue and a purple. Those are the ones I'm always gravitating to. How about you?
Teal.
Teal, it's really pretty. I love that. I love that. Good choice. Thanks for asking.
Thomas, I was gonna say it, Ben 10 solos everywhere. On top of that, who's your favorite Ben 10 alien?
Who's your favorite Ben alien?
Guy though is I forgot his name. Big Chill.
What is it?
Raph and Big Chill.
Big Show. What's your favorite alien?
I was gonna say Stinkfly. But now I'm like, Richard Robert's character.
Oh, Raven.
Yeah.
I like Heat Blast. I like Heat Blast a lot. Accelerate's pretty fun. Go in here.
Ben 10 solos everything.
Yeah.
Hello again, my name is Vaughn, and I would like to ask, out of all the other voice actors for Harley Quinn, with Margot Robbie as the live action, have you like listened to any of the other voice actors? Do you have a personal favorite?
Well, for sure, you know, when I started in the Warner Brothers universe in Los Angeles, my first job was Batgirl alongside Arlene Sorkin. Let's give her a round of applause. And she, of course, is my favorite. The role was created for her. And in person, she was very similar to her. Like, it was almost like she wasn't even doing a voice. Like, she just had this very ethereal quality to her, which gave her those ups and downs. So she's my favorite. I haven't heard other people do it, but I'm super excited to see Lady Gaga. I'm really excited to see that. I think she's gonna kill it. But you know, I wasn't the first, I won't be the last, so of course I'm always very happy for other people, but at the same time, it should always be me, right? Right.
That's easy. Thank you.
Hi, I hope your day is good. I was just wondering if you could tell us any fun stories from Huntsville.
Fun stories from The Little Mermaid. Well, aside from the fact that I cried, there was a moment where, you know, Jodie's so amazing. Like, she has incredible control over her voice. And when you're nervous, you don't sing as well because you're not breathing. And there was a moment where, you know, Melody's like, young. She's not supposed to sound like a trained full singer. And there needed to be moments where she sounded like a kid enjoying this world. And there was one line that just wasn't working, which was, my fingers are ringing and I really don't care. All of my curls have curled out of my hair. It was like very sweet. And it just wasn't working. And I went to the bathroom and I'm like, I know, I just needed a minute. I know what this needs. It needs more kid, right? My fingers are ringing. I really don't care. My curls have curled out of my hair. And that's like a big moment, right? And she looked at me like, yes, you got it. And she made me feel like I belonged. I belong. That's also a song. Yeah. So, and now we're very good friends. We hang out Every time we're at a con together, we hang out, and I'm still like, I'm thinking of the little mermaid, right? I'm so nervous. Yeah.
I feel the same way.
You're welcome.
Well, first of all, it was nice to meet you earlier, Tara.
Nice to meet you.
So I wanted to ask, like, considering the really wide ranges of voices that you do with your characters, is there anything you have to do to kind of preserve your voice so that you consistently work all day, every day, or is it generally any effortless thing to do that you don't have to do anything?
It really depends on what I'm doing too. Like if there's a shorter session, or if there's a singing session, or if there's a character that's yelling a lot or has a lot of rasp in their voice, that will determine how many breaks I take or what I'm doing. I always have 3 drinks. Let's see if my boyfriend knows what I like to have in the studio. 3 drinks.
Water, lollipop, and coffee.
I like soda. Yeah, I like the soda, but I don't like aspartame, so Olipop is my current favorite, and I have like a million flavors. And I don't drink dairy, so I'll have like and dairy's not good for your voice anyways, even if you're not vegan, but I'll have like an oat milk latte, something warm. And I don't like smoke, I don't go to concerts, because I do have to protect it, right? So I don't abuse my voice, but if there's gonna be like a long day, and it's starting to hurt, I'll definitely take a break so that I don't get exhaustion. And a lot of times the directors can also say, hey, let's take a break if it's getting too vocally taxing.
Well, that doesn't take away from anything at all, so great talk. So, and if it helps at all with the question about, like, being friends with someone you don't like, I know that there was an episode where Rainbow Dash was being friends with the Griffin, and I was kind of trying to get rid of Pinky every time she tried to jump in. I don't know if that was the episode you were trying to think of.
I mean, it could be.
Okay.
I knew one of you guys would know.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, you.
I was just wondering if there were any moments where you looked towards like the fan base for inspiration and like to uplift yourself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I look to my fans for uplifting stuff all the time, every day. Like, ask him. I'm super softy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big reason we come to the towns and just so Eric and interact, and there's this beautiful exchange of energy between everybody. I think that's like we do it like 18 to 20 sometimes a year.
Yeah, and how many times you see me cry or like break down? Like, I just think when you're doing a show, you don't really know how the fans are going to react. And then when I come here and I see all of your gorgeous faces and you're telling me these stories of how important some of these characters were, I feel so grateful. Like, thank you guys so much. Like, give yourselves a round of applause, really. Like, it's so nice that y'all come out to give us back this love. And I know a lot of times in shows they'll put little fun Easter eggs for fans, like Raven on TJ's Go playing with ponies. It was like definitely for my fans, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you guys are really important to me for sure.
Also, on that episode about being friends, I think it was the Starlight Trixie one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. There you go. Thank you.
What is the strangest and most interesting interaction that's like?
The strangest and most interesting interaction with a fan I've ever had.
The PG version, please.
Yeah. There are children here, so I can't tell the strangest. Because that was really strange. Not PG-13. Well, I have a few that are very memorable. One is there was a boy in my line who was signing, and he just got to the front of my table, and his mom scooted right in front of him, and she goes, I don't know why he loves you so much. He was born deaf. He's never heard you. And so I signed to him. I know the alphabet, and I asked if he could feel the vibrations of my voice. He said yes. So I took his hand. It's on my Instagram somewhere, and I put it right here, and I went, hi! Like he was a big Harley fan, and he went, oh. And then everyone behind me did that. And his mom started crying, and people were crying, and it was so sweet, because he could have felt the energy. And the other story, forgive me because you've heard this so many times, was a girl dressed as Raven, and she was talking a lot. And I looked over, her mom was crying a lot, and people do cry when they meet me, right, honey? It was like very intense, so I went to check on her, and she said that her daughter was severely autistic, and hadn't spoken in 5 years. And when she heard I was coming, she didn't shut up. And I was like, that's pretty amazing. Pretty cool.
We did have someone dressed in 12-foot tall Twilight costume.
Yeah.
And was gonna give us piggyback rides around.
You know what? That's a good weird
That was a weird
Yeah,
choice.
that's
It was
weird.
an amazing cosplay.
First, you're like, you want to get on? And you're like, no, she doesn't want to get on.
I was like, I would. Yeah, it was still to
It
amazing.
was amazing.
Hi, Miss Tara. My question is, have you ever accidentally like slipped up and voiced one of your other characters while trying to do another one?
Yeah, sometimes it happens if I'm doing them back to back. Very rarely, because they sort of are these sentient creatures that live in my mind and come down once our turn to play. But once in a while, they're like, oops, that was Harley and I was supposed to be Batgirl. You know, like on DC Girls, I was Batgirl, Harley, Raven. Like, to play all these characters back to back, once in a while, I would be like, oops, that's this line, but I catch it pretty quick.
Tara, Tara's boyfriend. Regal.
There you go.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I know you have a huge rap sheet of roles, like wandered in this room. Is there a
I thought you were gonna make it crimes, and I was like.
Better let you talk about it. You want to add to that rap sheet.
Oh, yeah, just get John on. My question for you is there a role that you have ever wanted to voice? Like, just, is there one that,
I mean, it would have been nice to be on The Simpsons. That is before my time. I'm from Toronto, and they definitely auditioned for that before I got here. That would have been a very nice paycheck. There's no other show that is like, I was just telling Hot Boyfriend the other day, that like a primetime show like that, actors are sort of paid more fairly in comparison to what the networks are making is very rare in voiceover. They have funny shows about it.
Would you have rather been on Just Simpsons, or would you have rather had your entire career that you have now?
Yeah.
Huh?
Boyfriend with a good question.
Every now and then.
Wait, is it $1 million an episode?
Over 30 years, that's a pretty good run.
But then I don't have people crying and cons and thanking me for their childhood.
I'm going with love over money. I'm going with all the characters. You're welcome.
I'm Justin, and I was just wondering, what was it like joining Batman, the DC?
The original Batman was so cool. Like, just imagine sitting in between Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. And like, yeah, I would just, oh, what you got? Come closer. My eyes are starting to go because, I'm over 40. Oh, wow, that's cool. That's really cool. How come you don't have any tattoos in any of my shows, honey? I noticed you do have some tattoos.
88 year.
Anyway, it was like pinch yourself moment, and they were both so brilliant. Mark Hamill is arguably one of the biggest on-camera celebrities to have a regular animated series role, maybe the biggest. Yeah, and he really does. And he earned that part, not just because he's a celebrity. He was so good at it. Don't you think Mark is the best Joker? And Kevin is the best Batman. Yeah. And Tara Stron is the best Batgirl. And yeah, it was kind of like doing an on-camera show because we would do a table read, and Andrea Romano, who is an extraordinary director, would really put us in all these moments, and it's I think it was maybe ahead of its time for realistic scenarios and real acting, and not that cartoon acting isn't real acting, but more realistic, like you're watching a movie, right, or an on-camera TV show. And so it always felt I always felt very lucky, every time I went in, because I was very grateful. It was a wonderful room, and we had tons of amazing guest stars all the time. I'd be like, oh my gosh, there was this guy, Jack.
Batgirl was one of the few characters where it's your real voice, right?
Yeah, it was my real voice. It's true, honey. Thanks for sharing that.
jump in, to take over for different actors, kind of like how Mark Hamill took over for,
Yeah, I think there were a couple other backgrounds before me, and at the time I didn't even know that. And anytime there's someone stepping in for a role, as long as it's not like a studio not wanting to pay the actor, it's not like a money situation. It's like, oh, we want to go in a different direction. But I'm pretty new to LA. I didn't even know until later that there was a previous voice for it. So I didn't feel that competition in terms of previous voice, but I did for that role because it was a very impressive way to go. Like voiceover grades, on camera grades. I was like, whoa, I was pretty excited to play that part.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Woo, thanks for the assist. What was your favorite Twilight Sparkle?
Favorite Twilight Sparkle. I think my favorite episode to record was Lesson 0 because it was pretty crazy and she didn't want to be tardy. It was really crazy and she had a lot of fun things to do. And I also really loved when she got her wings. Guess what, honey?
Right.
I cried. It's like, you can't cry. It's a cartoon and you're in it, but I did. What's your favorite episode? Elevator? The very first one?
If you keep asking her questions, she's gonna have
That was a great question. Thank you. So nice.
All right, we got about 5 more minutes left, so we'll try to get through it. We're just standing up.
If you don't get your question, though, I'm signing all weekend, so come see me.
Hi, my name is Addie, and do you have a favorite role that you've ever played in so much
Melody.
Yeah. Melody, for sure. That was my total fangirl moment.
What was your favorite memory from working on it?
Scented? Favorite memory? Well, that's a good question. I'd say, like, in general, it was really fun when there were other actors playing aliens who were, grown men and wanting to get it right. So I would do the line for them, and then they would copy what a 10-year-old boy would sound like doing that part. So that element was always really fun to sort of watch them copying me. Does that make sense? There you go. That's my answer.
Hi. Hi. So my question for you is, do you remember like the Rowdy Rough Boys episodes?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they made Bubbles eat a cockroach, like, what was your reaction to having to do that line?
Well, I definitely did not have to do an actual cockroach tonight.
There's a chance I maybe ate chips. Once in a while, if we do like crunching sounds in the booth, we'll eat things. Did you know that?
I did.
I don't really remember what I was thinking, but I will say that every single episode of Powerpuff Girls was incredibly fun. It was really fun.
And then, so I used to be obsessed with Twilight Sparkles and that whole thing, but when you were doing Twilight Sparkles, what was like your favorite like line?
Because my favorite line was, there were so many good ones. It's a fair kick. But I just had a really good time doing that show. Doing the movie was really fun too, and doing all the equestrian. You guys like the Equestrian Girls movies?
Yes.
That was really fun. Yeah, it was really fun to see her like in another universe and going through the portal and the door. It was really cool.
So Tara, we have 2 minutes left, so let's do a lightning round with all the.
Okay,
So fun.
lightning round. One question. Go, go, go.
What keeps you going?
Keeps me going.
Caffeine.
You know what? I love what I do. I worked with Stan Lee, pretty,
Crying.
Crying. Yeah.
Thank you.
Who's the character that you most relate to that you played?
Bubbles.
Because I really like to climb
Let's get. Let's give it up to it.
like, how hard was it to play Angel's voice on Lilo and Stitch?
It was not hard, and if you want to hear a funny story from that, they, in the audition, said that she had this spell that she sings to, control people, and they only had the words, and I made up the melody. It was like, whatever it was, and they liked it so much that they orchestrated the song to my melody. Like an orchestra played what I made up in the studio.
Pretty cool.
Give me a boogie boo.
Hi, Tara. I'm just saying, I've always been a big fan of Raven and Teen Titans. I was gonna ask, what do you think is like the biggest takeaway from her character development in Teen Titans, or like the biggest takeaway from you voicing her in Teen Titans?
Well, I at first didn't think I was going to book her because the character description for Starfire said grown-up Bubbles, and I'm grown-up Bubbles. And also at the time, I was doing like 5 different sort of dark, tragic teenage girls, and it's very important to me to make some distinction between each character, and so I did not know what I was going to do, especially being different enough from background because it was all the same people. And so I was in the studio and I just sort of did my Raven take just based on my acting and what I was picturing. And then as I was leaving the studio, I just said to Andrea, I have this other idea. And it was like a God shot. Like, I don't know how it just jumped in my head that she'd have this weird role every time she said anything. And they're like, that's what booked the job. So like maybe the most that's sort of affected me is how much she means to people. Like she seems to be this very sentient entity that helps people a lot. People are like, I felt very alone. I felt like I was the only person like this. I was very depressed, whatever it was. So I met Raven, and because it came to me in such a special way, I think there's actual real magic there. Do you guys want to do the spell with me?
Yeah.
Azura. There's some magic for you.
Just want to say also thank you for being my part-time job.
Greetings. I'm Thomas. I kind of want to fall back on that too. Thank you for being part of my childhood. Basically, I've been watching you since I was a fetus. Yeah, voice acting's like
Did you use the belly button? Oh, step a little to the left. Me and Thomas in your belly. Oh, turn up the volume. I just
You brought it up there.
So I also am trying to get my voiceover. It's kind of rare here in Huntsville.
You know what? The truth is, since COVID, you can be anywhere. You really can. I mostly work from home. He wasn't kidding. I'm in my closet every day. Like I work from home, so you could be anywhere in this country. You can go for it.
Yeah, I look forward to your class. It's really cool. I just like following you and all the voice actors. So like something with the industry basically right now. I'm just wondering, what do you think of like the Skynet, the AI?
Oh, look, I have very mixed feelings about AI. Willie knows this, so sorry to bug you about it again. I'm not against AI. I think there's a world that it becomes very helpful, right? Like if we can put into AI cure leukemia, and it can do that, right? So there are ways that it can make our lives better. In the ways that I don't think it can make it better is, of course, in the creative space, because creative comes from magic, and like I just said with Raven, it's like angels sort of guide you and help you, and you have this very organic thing that a machine could never have. And so, of course, I'm afraid that it will take work, because some of it's pretty good. Some of it's pretty good. The Drake song, and there was some other thing, was it South Park or something? Some of it's pretty good, and it's pretty early in the tech, so it's only going to get better. So I think it's important that all of us creative people hold on to each other, because I think the world wants to see real people doing creative things. So let's leave AI to do the harder, math things. Yeah, I know it's going to get close. I don't want to be naive about it. I think voice actors are going to be in a little bit of trouble when it comes to video games that are just like fight sounds or push this button. I think people will like probably sell their voice or likeness. We just have to make sure also that it's not stolen, right? Like when music came out, people were stealing music. Like hopefully there'll be good ways to track and make sure people can't just take bubble stuff and say, oh, we just lifted it a little bit or changed the way she says R, and then we'll never know. I think it would be very painful for people who spent a lifetime creating something that then gets stolen. So hopefully there'll be a way to sort of navigate that piece.
Indeed. I think we can.
Thanks, guys. I did wrap up a few questions. Well, because if I'm here, y'all want me to be honest, right? And I think people that say, "Oh, it's never going to happen," it is going to happen. We just have to navigate and be together for artists. I think that's important. Yeah. You guys, we have to go. So please come see us.
We have to do a stage selfie, I think, with everybody.
We have to do a stage selfie. Is that true? Let's do it. So come on up here. Oh, I can't stand there, so I'll sit on the table. You stand on the table. Okay, come on up, everybody. Thank you guys for being so awesome. You guys are awesome.
I'm getting it.
Complete. Complete. No. Authority.